Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back from the ad break. You are still watching Prime Live. Now, tonight we are going to be speaking to Mr. Clifford Mashishimane, and he is the dynamic owner of Café, a vibrant cultural oasis that just celebrated its 3 years anniversary alongside Africa Day festivities. Now, with spirits as rich and intoxicating as the coffee beans it brews, Cafe is more than just a cafe. It's also a gathering place for community, connection, and celebration of all things African. Thank you so much, Mr. Clifford, for joining us on Prime Life, and welcome.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa
Thank
alaikum
you for.
salam. Wa alaikum salam. I was listen. The name I know it's a backhanded kind of thinking, but when I saw Clifford Mashishimane, I was like, let me not take my chances. But Jazakallah so much for joining us on Prime Live.
Thank you. Thank you, man. I also go by the name of Jibril Hassan.
Jibrail Hassan.
Yes, man.
It's definitely an
Yes.
honor. It's definitely an honor to host you on Prime Live.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
So, can you just maybe walk us through the story of why and how you opened Cafe, and what inspired you to open such a cafe?
Okay. Cliff Cafe was actually a concept that I started contemplating when I first introduced to, the coffee shop lifestyle in Cape Town by my friends. That is when I actually started, visiting Cape Town a lot. So I really loved the spaces that coffee shops would provide. It sort of when you get to a place where you feel you can work without being asked if you're gonna eat or you're gonna do, where you can just have, an easygoing day, sort of an office far away from your office. So that is how I was introduced to the space and my love for coffee. And 10 years later, Cliff Cafe was born.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. If I may ask, where is Cafe located?
Cliff Cafe is located in Hammanskraal, which is in the north of Pretoria. So, if you know Dinokeng Game Reserve, it's just in the vicinity of Game Reserve, of the Dinokeng Game Reserve.
Actually, I think I know the cafe. I'm asking this because I was like, no, man, I've seen this person and I know this cafe, but inshallah, we shall get into the details of that later in the interview. But mashallah, it's a very, very beautiful space. I've seen it. Yesterday it was Africa Day. We've seen some beautiful visuals coming up on screen on the celebration. Can you tell us exactly what Africa Day means to you, and what are you doing to commemorate it?
Look, coincidentally, uh, Africa, the birth of Cliff Cafe coincides with Africa Day. So we actually launched on the 25th of May 3 years ago. So this was, we finished in time and we were like, okay, we can open any day. But we thought, let us wait for the 25th so that it coincides with Africa Day and, having the rich history of the coffee and the origin of coffee, the coffee bean, the discovery of coffee bean in Africa. So that is why we thought that it would be, a nice thing to always celebrate our birthday, but at the same time, recognizing the uniqueness of our continent, Africa.
Now, we
Yeah.
do know that with any entrepreneurial journey, there are challenges. It's not an easy journey, and especially now that it's your third anniversary, I'm sure there has been some challenges that you have overcome or went through. Please tell us about how you managed to, maneuver the business that you are running.
Look, just like you're saying, it's not easy running a business, especially a business that it's first of its kind. Remember, we are the first coffee shop in a township. We are Muslims, so our food is halal. There's no alcohol. So trying to bring that in a township, it's it was like everybody when they were passing by asking, what is it that you doing there? Is it another beer house, lounge, whatever? And I always say it's a coffee shop, and people would go, you'll drink that coffee. Nobody will drink that coffee here, you know. So that was the one scary thing that I was having in the back of my mind. But I always said, if I meet so many people in town from my township or from my or other townships, uh, that would that would like the spaces like coffee shops. What if they were there in their background? I mean, you don't want to drive all the way up to town just to have an experience of a space. So that was the first challenge that I had to overcome and challenge myself to say that I'm sure there's more people like me, who will like this. And just by pushing that boundary and establishing the coffee shop, it really opened up because now, a year later after opening, it sort of now turned to be an eatery. People now on weekends came and said, we fancy to make our birthdays here. We fancy to bring our children here. We fancy to, so those kind of things that you block yourself thinking are challenges are actually opportunities in waiting, So I think, it's some of the things that I started with the fear of, but they turned out to be more, beneficial. Yeah, and every day, there will be challenges. Sometimes you have a crowd of people booking 40, 50 people, and then when they come, they want to have liquor or whatever, and you tell them, no, you can't do this here because we are such a restaurant, and they cancel. Sometimes they've paid a deposit, but because of their communication, you end up losing business. But I always say you always have different strokes for different folks.
Mm. No, that's definitely a challenge. I mean, we do know that, especially in townships, when you open up an eatery or somewhere where people can chill and have, a good time, the first thing that people are looking for is alcohol. And if you're going to come with something that doesn't serve alcohol, that is a challenge in itself. Would you say most of your customers are Muslim? Because also Hamaskral is not necessarily Muslim dominated. So
That's right.
so you have a lot of you still have non-Muslim customers that obviously still enjoy being at the cafe regardless of the fact that it doesn't sell alcohol.
Yes. Look, this comes from the business that I started, the family business, years back with my father. We were selling bunny chows, the quarter, you
Yes,
know.
yes.
So, for the fact that we are Muslims and we source our Polonese and Russians and whatever from an Islamic butchery, you know, people whose religion also aligns with us, where they don't eat pork, and people that, for hygienic reasons, also don't like pork,
Mm.
they would buy from us and they supported us through the years in the same community. So fast forward to what I'm doing now in the cafe, although people would expect to have alcohol and then there's not enough Muslims to say, I can sustain my business from them only. You still have women who wants to date themselves without, thinking that they are going to sell themselves to men in areas that would be perceived to have, people who are, maybe who are consuming alcohol or something like that. So you find that you are creating an environment where children, women, and especially people that need a quieter space where they can read or they can, have a meeting, they support us and they are not necessarily Muslims. So that is almost like 80-90% of our people. Actually, I would say because the Muslims are not many, they don't constitute that much percentage of our customers, but this has actually created a space where, you find your foreign nationals who sometimes, because they are based in townships, they don't know where to fit in besides being with the people of their own. So now you can find, some group of Pakistanis coming, joining people and not feeling out of place. You can find Somalis after Juma coming and joining other peoples. So now this makes it a safer place to be in within the township. They don't
is so beautiful. If you are someone that's from the township, you do understand and appreciate such places, especially if you're Muslim, because whenever there is a cafe of any kind, it doesn't necessarily cater to, your needs as a Muslim person. So this is a very, very great cafe, I must say. But let's talk about your ingredients. Do you source some of your ingredients from, other businesses or suppliers in the area?
What is interesting is that when we started, uh, when we started the cafe, there's a group of entrepreneurs here called Pathfinders. So they actually launched, not launched, but they had a greet and meet sort of a meeting here before we even started operating. So what happened there is that it opened up to a lot of suppliers that aligned with the vision that Cliff Cafe was having. So there, there is a florist who actually started with me selling flowers in bouquets. She was doing wreaths for funerals and stuff. But when I opened, she fancied, selling bouquets. And it's the business that started then, and she's still with me now. And then the business of cakes. There's a lady who supplies us with cakes, who I found from the very same channel. We selling cakes in slices. Remember, the market here is to buy a cake from Pick and Pay or, in a full cake. If you needed to take somebody out and have a slice of cake, it's practically, it's not possible in a township. So we created that platform where she can make cakes on a daily and sell in slices. And she's been supplying us for 3 years till today. Even our birthday cake was done by her. And then also we have artists who, because of the lack of art galleries around the townships, we have our festivals where they display their arts, and then some of them even leave them at the cafe so that people can sort of, show interest and then contact them later on, and they make sales from there, or they are known, or we take them and put their pictures on our social medias. So yeah, we have such people that we are still working with, but in terms of the actual ingredients for food, because we don't necessarily have Islamic butcheries around, I source my meat from Mayfair, from a butcher called Master Rib, who supplies me with the likes of the ribs and steaks, and it's people that we've worked with before, and yeah. But I can comfortably say that 80%, if not 90%, of everything that is sold in here and everybody that works in Cliff Cafe, it's from Hammerskraal.
Mashallah, that's very good. I mean, it shows that Cliff Cafe is not just about business, but it's also about connecting communities and bringing everybody together. That is such a beautiful thing. Lastly, before we let you go, what advice would you give to others that may be wanting to venture into a similar business into their communities?
Look, I always tell the youngsters that I work with that it's about time that when you have something good that you see, that you fancy from outside, sometimes opportunities are outside, we know that. But I think the ground is fertile now for us to bring whatever we fancy outside of our communities, anything that is positive, that we feel works. I think the soil is fertile now to bring it back home. I always envy. The reason why I did a coffee shop the way it is where I'm staying is that I envied. I mean, I started with staying in Hammerskraal. That is what I did. I thought to myself that why should I stay in town only for me to come to where I stay to Hammerskraal, and during the day and then sleep in town. I might as well build my house here, build my dream house here, build my life here, and then improve the community that I'm in. Malls are coming to our townships. Malls are doing a lot of things in our townships. So it shows that everybody now is coming back. So I would say to the young entrepreneur who has that bright idea to say, look at how you can expand it, get whatever you need from wherever you're sourcing it from, whether it's education or whatever, but do not limit yourself to only doing it where you found it, or only even here. I mean, my dream is not to only be in Hammerstrout. My dream is to expand, but I'm proud to say this started here, you know. So I would say to the young entrepreneurs that, don't feel ashamed of where you come from, and, do the most for what I mean, for the people that cares for you. The people that care, that knows you, are your best critics and are your best supporters, because those are the people that nurtured you. That is people that knows exactly who you are. So even if you can't make it at home, but at least try to bring whatever you've done good, bring it home so that you can elevate, the quality of the lives of your people.
Mm. I mean, Jazakallah so much, Mr. Clifford, for joining us and just for sharing insight on, your business, but also just us commemorating yesterday being Africa Day and how your cafe also commemorated this beautiful day. So, Jazakallah so much for joining us.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
Viewers at home, this was a very amazing interview that I just had with Brother Clifford Mashishimane, who was just telling us about his journey into, owning and running Cliff Cafe, but also the challenges that came with it, the advices that he gave, and also commemorating Africa Day and the importance of community and unity. But without wasting any time, let's go to a quick ad break. We still have more. Stay tuned.